We met at a wedding. We went to a wedding, and he asked me to go for a drink, and I said I don't drink. He said, let's dance. I says, I don't know how. He left and he went away to Adams, down Fort Adams. And then when he came home, he looked me up again, and we went out a couple of times. Went to PC with him a couple of times, and we went to dances. And then he went in the service. And he went out to Florida. And I left Rhode Island because I drove a family to Florida. And he said, I'm all through. He was an ensign. And he came home, and we married. He says, I gotta get back because my date for the service is such and such a date, and I gotta be in California. My father helped. We got a wedding together in a very quick order in a week's time. And we got married on a Monday and left Monday afternoon. My grandfather danced. My father played the accordion and danced, and that was up on Atlas Avenue. Then we boarded the train and went to California on the train. But his friends were all excited for him. They even walked the train track before the train came in, and they're all dead. We're still here. And that was the story. That was in February. Then we went away back to California, and we lived there for 2 years. We met our friends that were in San Diego with him in the service, and Frank Monti and Beatrice Monti, and his brother came out. We met him off of the ship in San Diego. And his cousin, what was his name, Louie Cosentino. And we met many friends coming in from the service. They're coming in from different ships. So, and that was it. And then the war was over, and we came home. But we already had John, but he got very ill when he was born, and he almost died on us. And we met this nurse that took care of him. Until this day, we still know her. And she lives in North Carolina, and she keeps in touch with us. And then I lost 2 in between, 2 miscarriages. And then I became pregnant with Richard. When he was born, I used to eat a lot of watermelon. And they used to say, oh, she had a little watermelon. And he was handsome. He was beautiful. And lying in hospital. And they just idolized him as a baby. And he was 10 pounds, 1 ounce. And he was a handsome young man. And I brought him home, and then so many months later, Judy was born. And then they became very close to each other. And I just watched them very closely and tried to do my best and took care of them. Judy, I took her to dancing school. I drove the bus so that she would go to dancing school, and I drove the bus for nothing because they were looking for someone to drive the bus to help all the young children. So I drove the bus so that she could go to dancing school, and Richard was always there to help. He was always there. Always with a beautiful smile. And then as they grew up, there was this buddy in the gang, not buddy in the gang, but this, I can't remember the show on TV, WJAR. And they said, if your child is good, bring him down and we'll take pictures of him and he'll be on our show. So I took Richard down there, and Richard was on the TV show, and he enjoyed it with all the children, and he had a great time. And they made him sing and all that. And then Judy wouldn't go, and that was the story for Richard. And then they both grew up together in their years, and they stayed close together for a long time. Well, we bought the house on the Cape, and I had the three children down there. And then I had my niece come in from California, and my son John worked as a chef and a laundryman and everything, and he worked all over the Cape. And I used to cook for all their friends, the macaroni and everything, and we'd sit on the porch and eat. But Louie was in and out. He came up, stay up a day, and then run home. And we didn't. He didn't enjoy it, I don't think, as much as we did, because the children were always there, and I always had a group of kids there waiting for macaroni, and I would cook for all of them, and they had a good time and enjoyed it with them. And they talk about it today. I mean, some of them do. And the Cape was a nice, comfortable place to live there for a while. Yeah. I like to bake, and for a while I loved to cook. Now I don't. But I would like to get back to baking. I'd like to bake a few things, and I'm a great one for recipes. And every recipe I see in the paper, if I like it, I cut it out. I got boxes and paper bags and everything else full of recipes. So I don't know what they're going to do with them when I'm gone, but my son John's wife said, don't throw them away because I want them. But I've made bread, and when I went to Jerusalem, they had this certain kind of spices. And I heard about that, and I got some of that spices, and I made bread. It was so good that when Judy went to Jerusalem, I told her, buy me some more. And then she did, and I put it in the freezer, and I used it, and I kept making bread and letting everybody taste my Jerusalem bread, which I love very much. I wish I could get back to baking. And while I was in Epic now, one of the dietitians, we got talking, and she says, I know you were a cook. You cooked a lot. I said, yeah, I did. She says, tell me how to make pasta fazool. And I did. And the next day she came in, she said, I made it. It was delicious. She says, oh, I like your recipes, the old-fashioned type cooking. So it seems that I always get into cooking or religion. I left my rosary beads, and I think, and everybody that came in saw the rosary beads, and I left a little bit of that behind in Epic. And one of the nurses came in, and she said, did you say them this morning? I said, yes, and hold up the rosary beads to her. We talk religion, we talk bacon, and talk cooking. I said, I can't believe this. Still going on. But it was good. I mean, it's not talking about people or talking about other things. We talked about things that were nice in life. And that's what I enjoyed. My father would wait patiently, like at Easter time and Palm Sunday like today. He would wait patiently for me to make all the Italian stuff. And he would sit and eat and enjoy it so much. And he couldn't wait for the time that I would go, and I would go to see him every year. And my mother didn't cook. She cooked the old-fashioned way, but I was mostly the cook when I was younger, when I was there. But he used to call me, lady, can you make this? And I said, yeah. He says, I'd like to have it. So I'd make it for him. And it made me happy because he was happy. I had a beautiful mother and father, and we enjoyed things together in our family. We had our problems up and down, but it was very good. I had 3 brothers and 2 other sisters. 2 sisters are still living, and my brothers all passed on. My youngest brother, Louis Peter, when he was born, he had it wasn't multiple sclerosis. It was oh, I can't remember. He was at the Line-In Hospital over here in Providence, and he had to sleep with his head down to his feet and his feet up in the air. And I took care of him and brought him up because my mother couldn't do it. And my other two brothers, then they all went in the service as they grew older. And I was left with just two sisters. And then, when I got married, my sisters followed. My father says, I'm not staying here because he had nerve paralysis of the face. And he got on a bus and went all the way out to California. And on the way, he would stop and say which one where he liked. And he hit Fresno. He liked Fresno because there were fruits and nuts and vegetables, and he liked it there. So he bought things there and lived there until my mother decided, yeah, okay, I'll join you. But it was a long time because she didn't want to leave Rhode Island and leave her father. Her father was in his early 90s, like maybe 95, and they sent me the money. When my son John was 16, we put them on the plane, both of them, and went to California. My grandfather came back. He was 98 years old. He stayed in California, and they loved him. He was a real old man with a mustache and all that, very nice person. He liked to joke and laugh and that. And he came back, and then he passed away. Roller skating was my young life. I stopped skating when I was maybe about 14, and I used to go with my brother, and we used to go to different clubs and play, and I met up with this Carl, and he was an elderly man. He wasn't, but he was an excellent ice skater, an excellent roller skater, and he took me as a partner, and we did a lot of not tournaments. We taught a lot together, and we did an awful lot of dancing together. And then one day we went to Mineola in New York, and we skated out there on a skating with all the groups and things, and so that they could pick out who was good, and we won. And then we skated at Maryville. We skated at and then Rocky Point, Crescent Park. We opened up Crescent Park and special dancing sessions, and we taught out there. And I became a very good roller skater. They knew me, and whenever they saw me on the skating ring, oh, here she is, you better get out of her way. and we skated together an awful long time, Carl and I. But my brother used to come home and tell my father I was skating with an old man, and I was going out with an old man, but I wasn't. But then Carl passed away, and then I just was on my own with Pearl, this girl that I was very friendly with, and she was a young French girl, and she would go too, but her husband didn't skate, so we just skated together and enjoyed our roller skating. We did a lot of nice things together. And I still remember her today, but she has passed away a long time. And here I am, 95, and can think of all those things that I did, that nice things, and the things that were not, I try to leave behind. Roller skating. I still have my roller skates. I had professional roller skates because you could unhook them and wear the shoes and not the skates. And then I would hook them up to the shoes, and I was right on the skating rink in no time because I didn't have to lace shoes and nothing because I always had my shoes on. I enjoy going to Foxwood, and I still enjoy it. And I go with a group of girls that are all high rollers, and then they take me out to lunch in Foxwood, and I play the machines and win and lose and enjoy it. That's it. And now I save so much, and I go to Foxwood, I play with it. When I lose, I quit. And when I win, I just keep playing and keep the rest for the next time. Louie started to play golf, and I was always alone because he was always on the golf course. and he would leave, and he wouldn't come home until later in the afternoon. And I just brought up the children, and we did what we could together and had fun. And I uh, uh, let them enjoy themselves. So my mother and father lived in California, and I miss them, but I took care of the children. And then when I talked to Louie about golf, he says, "You'll never play golf because I won't play with you, and I won't, and that's not for you anyway." So I says, "Okay." So I went out and took lessons on my own, and I bought my own clubs, and I went out and played with the girls until he found out that I was playing and with one of the Cedrone girls, and was putting me into these different tournaments and everything, and they enjoyed the way I played. So then he found out, and then he says, "Okay, I'll get you at Kirkbrae and you can join Kirkbrae." He entered me in Kirkbrae Country Club, and then I went up there and I joined the girls and played with all the girls. I was doing very well. And one of the girls, she was a fantastic golfer, she said to me, "I want you as my partner. We're going to have this 4-ball session." So I got all excited and I came home, and he says, "That's not for you. You can't do that. That's a big thing, and you can't." So I went back and I said, "Sterling, yeah, I can't do this because he told me not to." She says, "Don't pay any attention to him. You're going to be my partner." And we won the tournament, and we played. And then from then on, everybody got close to me because I was playing good, and they liked the way I hit the ball and all that. But I would watch the men play and pick up everything I could pick up on the TV so that I would play good golf. Well, we were in a tournament, and we played golf, and when I came up to this ninth hole near the club, uh, it was my turn to hit the ball. I hit the ball, and well, it was just flew away, and we're looking at it. Everybody's talking and laughing, and all of a sudden they said, "It went in the hole. You got a hole in one." We couldn't believe it till we got up to the flag, and when I saw the ball in the hole, we all laughed and jumped around, and we went on to the next hole, ninth. Then we went on to the 10th hole near the club, and it was a happy moment, and I had something to brag about because he didn't get a hole in one, I did.
Come close, within an inch of a hole in one, but never made a hole in one. She has her name on the board at Kirkbrae Country Club, hole in one, Rita.
So I got all excited because he played so long and he never got a hole in one. So I got a hole in one, and then when I went in the clubhouse, I called his office and said, "I got a hole in one," but he wasn't there. Then he called back, and he ordered champagne, and we had champagne. And that was my tournament. And I played in a lot of the tournaments with her, and she enjoyed, but she taught me all the things that I didn't know. And, I would lose count a lot of times, but she always had it down on the pad. It's a fantastic golfer. So her name and my name were up on the board all the time. And I enjoyed the golf, and that was it. Every year at a certain time, they look for a king and queen. So this one particular time we went in, and they chose us as king and queen. And we had a good year, and whenever we were going to do something, I always found something funny to do. And the president enjoyed it, and she said it was one of the best king and queen years that she had. And I enjoyed that. So I got that job in Providence, and I was a fancy wrapper on the holidays. I used to wrap all kinds of gifts. Then I worked at the secretary downstairs. I would go different places, but they would assign you to a different job every day. You never knew where you were going to be. And I did a lot of that work. I enjoyed the outlet very, very much, and I knew an awful lot of people. And today it's funny that I meet people. I met someone in the hospital now that worked in the outlet, and they said, I kind of remember this and that about the outlet, and we spoke about that, and it was reminiscing of all the outlet and how the outlet went down so fast. But now we miss it, and they missed it also. So we talked about it, and it's a lot of memories. But I enjoyed doing the work I did, and fancy gift wrapping, and down at the special secretary's desk downstairs, and all around the place, because they would always assign you to a different section in the outlet. I wanted to go to Portugal so bad, and then St. Augustine's had a big advertisement with Mr. Colson that he was going. So Louie said, "You want to go?" I said, "Yeah." So I got a ticket and I went to Portugal. Oh, that was so beautiful. And I've been there now 7 times, enjoyed every minute in Portugal and with Fatima. And then one day when we came back, one of the pilgrimage, we said to Louie, "You want to go?" He said, "No, you pray too much over there. I don't want to go." But then the following time that they had the pilgrimage, he decided he would go. And then he says, "Oh, you have a lot of fun too. You don't only pray." So he came a few times, but I go back and forth, and I think of Portugal an awful lot. And it has helped. And in this past 2 years, it has helped me an awful lot in my life. And here I am, 95, and don't believe it. I'm still walking around, still here. I don't know. See what happens the rest of the years. The doctor says maybe 2 months, maybe 3 months, maybe a year, maybe 5 years, or maybe you'll outlive me. So we'll see what God wants. And when we're finished with that, we'll go from there and left the rest behind.